Good morning, class, and welcome back to our online classes initiated by Vishiram Shikshan Sansthan, Joshara Uttarkashi. So, we are going to continue the chapter, The Happy Prince. Now, after that, let us start. Just a brief introduction where we have ended last. That a solo came to the Happy Prince, and the Happy Prince asked to help, or the happy prince asked the solo to help because he was fixed to the pedestal there, or he was fixed to the tall column there. Therefore, he could not move anywhere. So he asked the solo to help him or to become a messenger to the prince, so that through the solo, the prince can help all the people who are suffering from misery or who are suffering from pain, and the solo accepted to help the prince, or he accepted to become the messenger of the prince. Now after that, let's start. I am waited for in Egypt, said the solo. My friends are flying up and down the Nile and taking to the large and talking to the large lotus flowers. So when the prince asked the solo that can he help, or can he be his messenger to help the people in need. So the solo replied to that he is being awaited by his friends. So all his friends have moved to Egypt earlier. Now all the other friends of the solo are waiting for him in the Egypt. So he said, and soon they will go to sleep, and soon their friends will go there to sleep. The prince asked the solo to stay with him for one night, and the prince requested the solo to just stay with him for one night and be his messenger. For that one night, the prince asked or requested the solo to be his messenger. After that, the boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad, he said. And he added to it that please stay for one night, because the boy who is lying ill on the bed is very thirsty, and the old woman is also very sad because she cannot fulfill the needs of the little child who is suffering from fever. So I don't think I like boys, answered the swallow. I want to go to Egypt. And the swallow said that he do not like boys. Now, what may be the reason that he do not like boys? The boys may have troubled the swallow many times. Therefore, there is a hesitation, or we can say, therefore, his like for the boys is he do not like boys. So therefore, he says, I don't think I like boys. He thinks that he do not like boys, and he wanted to go to Egypt. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. And but the emotions of the statue, that the swallow could observe that the prince was so sad, and the swallow was sorry for it. It is very cold here, and he added to that, it is very cold here, he said. But he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. So, though the sparrow did not like boys, but after that also, he is willing to help the prince, happy prince, willing to help the prince, or willing to help basically the boys who were suffering from the illness and the old lady. So, after that, though he gave reasons for not staying in that city, was that it was very cold here. But after that also, regarding that also, he agreed, or we can say he was satisfied for the, or we can say he was satisfied for the king's or the prince pain which he was going through. So he said that he will agree. So he said that he will stay there for one night and be his messenger. And messenger, the person one who carries message from one person to the other person. And he agreed to be his messenger. Thank you, little swallow, said the prince. And the prince replied to his that thank you for helping him, because The prince was not able to see those miseries, those pain in his city. Therefore, he was very thankful to the swallow that though the statue was fixed or attached to the tall column, the swallow was ready to help him. So he was very thankful to the swallow. The swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword and flew away with it in his beak over the roofs of the town. So, as he agreed that he will take the ruby and give it to that old lady, so that from that ruby, the precious stone, he can buy some fruits or some one day meal, or you can say for one time meal also he can buy and satisfy the needs of the little child who is suffering from fever. So he took out the ruby from the hilt. Hilt is that the sword handle of the sword where the ruby was fixed, and he took out that ruby from that and flew down to the roofs of the town. He passed the cathedral tower where the white marble angels were sculptured. So while flying from the tall column to the towns below, so he was passing through. So he passed the cathedral. A cathedral, we can say, is the main church, and church tower he where the marble angels, marble angels means that marble statues of God's messenger. If you see in church, there will be many statues made up of messengers of God and all the etc. You can see on the church. Sculptured. Sculptured means that statues of God's messenger were made on the pillars of the church. So he passed by the palace and heard the sound of dancing as he was moving to the house of the old lady. He passes through many levels, or we can say he passes through many towns, through the doors of the town, and from that he passes from the cathedral. After passing from the cathedral, so this is the whole movement of the swallow from the tall column to the old lady. So the distance that he is covering from that, so all those are mentioned very clearly that he passes first the cathedral where the cathedral pillars had beautiful marble statues made of God's messengers. So after that passing, uh, he passes through the beautiful girl in the balcony. A dancing sound comes in. A beautiful girl came out on the balcony. So the girl came out on the balcony with her lover. So I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball. And she says that she hoped that the seamstress was the old lady whose son was suffering or whose son was ill. So he said that I hope the dress will be ready in time for the state ball. So state ball is for that at that time it is the government dance program where it is initiated or where it is held there. So she hoped that the dress might be ready uh, in the time for the state ball, and she said, and after saying that, he said, I have ordered flowers to be embroidered on it. And she has asked the seamstress that she should embroider. Embroider means you fix flowers on the satin gown that is prepared by the seamstress. And after that, he says, but the seamstress are so lazy. And she says that the seamstress persons are the female tailors. Seamstress are the female tailors, and she says that these female tailors are very lazy, or they are so lazy. After that, he passes over the river. So he passes over the river and saw the lanterns hanging on the mast of the ship. So mast means a tall pole on the ship. So if you see a ship, there's a tall pole on the ship. That is called mast. So while passing the river, he saw the lanterns are hanging on the mast, and uh, hanging. At last, he came to the poor woman's house and looked in. So, at last, passing through the cathedral, passing through the balcony of the dancing girl, and passing through the rivers, now the swallow reached the old woman house and uh, looked in. The boy was tossing feverishly on his bed. Means the boy who was lying in the bed was tossing feverishly. Means the boy was sleeping unsteady with fever. So when somebody suffers from illness, so you are not still on the bed. Some movement or the other takes place from the due to the pain that the person is suffering. So the boy was tossing feverishly. He was tossing up and down, side by side, moving, and the mother had fallen asleep, and the old woman who was embroidering the gown of the lady was fast asleep because she was tired and she was hungry. Therefore, she fell asleep. She was so tired because she was very tired embroidering those gown or those dress. Therefore, she fell asleep. And after that, in he hopped and laid the great ruby, on the table beside the woman's thimble. So after that, the swallow, went in, hopped inside the house, and laid the great ruby on the table beside the woman's thimble. So thimble is a kind of a finger protection that is used by the tailors. If you have seen when the tailors sew the dress, they wear some kind of we can say of steel lid. It's a type of a lid, or we can say a type of a cover. If you have seen that many tailors, even in Uttarkashi, you have seen the tailors when they sew things, they wear a we can say a silver, sorry, not a silver, a steel type lid on their fingers so that the needles do not prick the fingers. So those are called thimbles. I hope you understood the meaning of thimble here. So the swallow hopped in and kept the ruby beside the woman's thimble. So because the woman was a seamstress and she was wearing a lid, or we can say a type of cover which was protecting her finger, and he kept beside that thimble the ruby. Then he flew gently around the bed. After that, he flew around the bed of the ill boy, or of the boy who was suffering from fever. He flew to the his bed gently and fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. And after that, he flew around the boy as if he was fanning, that he was fanning the old boy so that he could sleep well. So he was fanning the forehead with his wings. How cool I feel, said the boy. After the swallow became a fan for the little boy, the boy felt that how cool he felt at that time. And before that, he was tossing feverishly on the bed. He was unsteady with fever, therefore, he was tossing feverishly. Now, when the swallow flew around his forehead and fanned him, so he felt very cool, and I must be getting better. And he said to himself that he must be getting better now. And he sank into a delicious slumber, and after the swallow gave fan to him, he felt or he sank into a delicious slumber. Delicious slumber here means that he felt into a very peaceful sleep. So, because he fell into the peaceful sleep, why? Because the swallow flew around his forehead, and with his wings he gave him air, fresh air. So then the swallow flew back to the happy place. After doing this work, he flew back to the happy place and told him what he had done, and told him all that what he had done. He hopped inside the house, he kept the ruby beside the woman's symbol, and after that he went around the forehead of the boy, and with his wing he fanned the boy, and he told all these stories to the happy place. And it is curious, he remarked, and he said that it is curious, but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold. And he says that all the activities that he had done that made him very curious. The solo remarks that it made him very curious, but I feel quite warm now. Though he said earlier that the temperature of that city is very cold here. So though it was cold there, but now he felt warm enough. So that is because you have done a good action, said the prince. And the prince replied to that, that is because you have done a very good action, or you have done very good kind thing, that that is why you are feeling warm inside. So, and the little swallow began to think and then fell asleep. And he began to think that whether actually what he has done, whether it was good or not. So, he fell by thinking that, or by thinking those thoughts, he felt asleep. And thinking always made him sleepy. And the swallow, whenever the swallow wanted to sleep, he would think about something or the other. So that thinking, the process of thinking, made him sleep. So the process of the thought working, always made the swallow sleep. Therefore, he also started thinking and then fell asleep. Uh, when day broke, he flew down to the river and had a bath. So when the day broke means here when the morning came, he flew down to the river and had a bath in the river. Today I go to Egypt, said the swallow, and he was in his high spirits at the prospect. And while going, he was saying that today he will go to Egypt. And the swallow was with it when he woke up in the morning. He was with his high spirit, means he was filled up with anxious anxiety that now he's going to move from here to there, and the at the prospect as far it is possible. Now today he was going to move to Egypt. He visited all the monuments and sat a long time on the top of the church steeple. And after having a bath in the river, then he visited all the buildings in that city, and sat long time on top of the church steeple. So top of the steeple here, church steeple means the top of the church, the peak of the church. He stayed a long time spending there. When the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. And after that, the whole day spent there. And when the moon rose and the sun set, he again flew back to the happy prince. Have you any commissions for Egypt? And when he goes to the prince, he asks that, have you have any commissions? Commissions here mean work. So have you have any work for Egypt? He cried, I am just starting. And he says, if you have any work for Egypt, then I am moving today, I am going today. And he's just going to begin his journey. He's just going to start his journey. And after listening to that, the prince replied, or the prince said, Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you stay with me one night longer? And again the prince requested the swallow that again for one day, again for one night, please stay with him. I am waited for in Egypt, answered the swallow. And after the king asked, he replied again that he is being waited by the other friends or other swallows who have already moved to the Egypt, and they are waiting for him. And uh, the prince says that swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, far away across the city, I see a young man in a garret. And he says that far away across the city, he see a young man in a garret. Garret here means a small room on the roof. So there's a small room on the roof that is called the place. The place name for it is garret. So the prince saw a young man in the garret. He is leaning over the desk covered with paper, and he is leaning forward on the desk with his surroundings covered with paper, and in the glass by his side. And beside him, a glass is kept, and in that glass by his side, there is a bunch of withered violets. And there's a bunch of withered violet means there's a bunch of dried up blue purple flower. Dried up withered violet means dried up blue purple flowers are beside him, and he has large and dreamy eyes. And he has a large, his eyes are large and dreamy eyes, and he is dreaming, or we can say he is imagining that what to right, because he is trying to finish a play for a director of the theater, but he is too cold to write anymore. Now, because he was he has a large and dreamy eyes, he has a large and dreamy eyes, and he's imagining things for the director to, or he's trying to finish a play for the director and of the theater. But the temperature there, or the temperature in that city was very cold, so therefore he could not proceed, or he could not continue to write, because the temperature there was getting colder and colder. So therefore there is no fire in the grate. Here, grate means a metal frame of fireplace. So, a metal frame, that is a place in the house, that metal place in which fires are burned. So, he do not have fires there, and hunger made him faint. And hunger made him faint. He was getting fainted, or he was getting slowly fainted due to hunger. And I will wait with you one night longer. And again, the because the swallow was a very generous bird, and he again said that he will stay for tonight also with him and help that young man who's staying in the garret. After that, uh, he asked if he should take another ruby to the young playwright. And after that, he said, because the swallow was a very great hearted, and he asked the king that should he take the another ruby from his sword. Now, after that, alas, I have no ruby now. And the prince replied that now we do not have any ruby now. And my eyes are all that I have left. And his eyes, as told earlier, the eyes of the prince was made up of sapphire. A sapphire is a transparent and blue precious stone. And he says that at last I have these two eyes, and they are made of rare sapphires. And these sapphires, and the history of the sapphires, from where these sapphires, these transparent blue precious stone, from where these are brought out of India thousands years ago. Thousands years ago, these sapphires were brought from India, and he ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. And he asked the swallow to take one of his eyes and give that sapphire to the playwright. He will sell it to the jeweler, and after seeing the sapphire, he will go to the jeweler and sell it to the jeweler and buy a firewood and finish his play, he said. And he would buy some firewood in the market from the money which he bought from selling the sapphire, and he could then have a fire and firewood and finish his play, he said, so that he can feel the, or we can say he can, by burning the fire, he will make the room temperature quite warm. So therefore, if the room temperature was quite warm, he could again get the strength to write, and plus he can eat some more, or we can say he can also eat some food, so that he do not faint from hunger. Dear prince, said the swallow, I cannot do that. And he began to weep. After listening to the king, that the king said that you take his eyes, the king said that you take my eyes and give it to the playwright. The swallow said that he will not do that. And then he cannot do that. He cannot take the eyes of the prince. And after that, then he said that, and he began to weep. And he was very emotional. The swallow was very emotional bird, and he was a very kind-hearted bird. And he began to started weeping. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince. Do as I command you. And the prince says that swallow, dear little swallow, please do what I command you. What I have said to you, please do that. So the swallow plucked out the prince's eyes, and after that, the swallow plucked out the prince's eyes and flew away to the young man's garret. And he flew away to the young man's garret. Garret is a place where there's a room on the top of the roof. It was easy enough to get in. Now, to get in that room, it was quite easy enough for the sparrow, because as there was a hole in the roof, so he could easily get into the inside the room. Though this he darted and came into room. So when he went through the hole and came into the room, the young man had his head buried in his hands, so he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wing. So when he entered inside, the heads were buried with the hands. So the director was lying down with hands burying his head. So he could not listen to the flutter of, or we can say the fluttering of the wings of the swallow. He could not listen to that. Uh, and when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violet. So when the swallow came in, he kept the sapphire near the withered violet that dried up blue purple flowers. He kept on it, and when he woke up and saw that there was a rare sapphire on that, and sapphire lying on the withered violet. I am beginning to be appreciated. Now he says to himself that he is beginning to be appreciated, or he is beginning to be liked, or he is beginning to be recognized by people. He cried. This is from some great admirer, and this sapphire, he says that this sapphire has given this award was given to him by some of his admirers, those who admire him as a great playwright. So that person has given to him, he thinks to himself. And now I can finish my play, and he looked quite happy. And after that, looking at that sapphire, now he decided that he will finish his play, and he looked quite happy after seeing the sapphire. The next day, the swallow flew down to the harbor. He sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailor working. So, and again the next day, when the swallow woke up and he flew down to the harbor. Harbor is a place where the ships are kept in a port. So that are harbors, and he flew to the harbor and he sat on the mast. A mast is a long, or you can say tall pole on the ship. Here vessel means here ship. So he sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailor working, and he watched from there the sailors were working on the ship. I am going to Egypt, cried the swallow. And he cried, and the swallow cried that he is going to Egypt. But nobody minded, and when the again, but nobody minded, nobody listened to him whether where he was going, with whom he was going, nobody minded about the work of the swallow. And when the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. Again, from the whole day he spent on the harbor, and after that, when the moon again roses, he again flew back to the happy prince, and that was in the top, that was in the center of the city with a tall column placed there. It is winter. Sorry, I have come to bid you goodbye. And he goes to the happy prince and says that I have come to here to bid you to say you goodbye, because he was leaving to Egypt. Now, swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you not stay with me one night longer? Again, the prince requested the swallow to stay for one night, one more night, and it is winter, answered the swallow. And the swallow said, now in the city it is the time of winter. And snow will soon be here, and after some time the snow in that city snow will fall, and snow will be here. In Egypt the sun is warm on the green palm trees, and he says that in Egypt at this time the sun there will be very warm on the green palm trees, and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them, and the crocodiles there lazily lie on the mud and look upon them. And in the square below, said the happy prince, and the happy prince again began to tell what he was observing, and he says that in the square below there stands a little match girl. So a square below means an open area in the town. So in the square below, in the open area in the town, there stood a girl. And the girl, what was the girl doing? The girl was selling matchsticks. and she has let her matches fall in the gutter, and the matches she had, which she was selling, that matches fell in the gutter, and they are spoiled. Now they are spoiled, they are of no use now, because water has spoiled those matchsticks. Her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money, and her father will beat her because if she do not bring any money to him by selling those matchsticks. His father will beat the girl, and she is crying, and she is crying because now she knows that her father is going to beat her. So she has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare, and she do not have any shoes or any stockings, and her head was bare. Bare here means without any cap or hat. Her head was bare. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her. And he says that take out my second eyes, or pluck out my second eyes and give my eyes to that little match girl. And her father will not beat her. And after when she will receive that sapphire, her father will see that she has brought a very precious stone. Therefore, she will be forbidden from the beatings of her father. Now I will stay with you one night longer, said the swallow. And the swallow says that today, this night also, he will stay with the prince. But I cannot plug out your eyes. And he says, I cannot plug out your eyes now. And you should be quite blind then. And if he takes out both, first eyes have been taken and given to the playwright. Now, second, if the eyes will be given to the little match girl, the prince will be totally or completely blind, and he will not be able to see any things around the city. And the swallow says that he will not take, because then you will be, or then you will become blind. Therefore, I cannot take your second eyes. And then similarly, the prince again says, please do as I command you. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. And what I have commanded you, you please follow those instructions. So he plucked out the prince's other eye and darted down with it. So again, then he plucked out the second eye and darted down, flew down to the it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewels into the palm of her hand. Then he flied down to the match girl and slipped and dropped carefully the jewels into the palm of the little girl. What a lovely bit of glass, cried little girl, and she ran home laughing. And when she received the sapphire, the blue sapphire, and she said to herself that what a lovely bit of glass. She thought it was a glass, and she cried to herself. And after receiving that sapphire, she ran laughing to her home. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said, so I will stay with you always. And after giving that sapphire to that little girl, the swallow came back to the prince and said, now because you are completely blind, now I will stay with you forever. So he will stay with him always. No, little swallow, said the poor prince, you must go to Egypt. And after finishing, he says that, no, you must not stay here. Now you can go, or now you can move to Egypt. No, I will stay with you always, said the swallow. And he slept at the prince's feet. And after that, he says that no, now he is not going to move to Egypt or not going to move anywhere, and he will stay with the prince forever. And the next paragraph from this we will start in the next class. Thank you and have a nice day.